LeBron's never been on a team that's in the top 10 in pace. And he's got a bunch of guys on his team.
Do you think that's a style, or just think that even after 15 years it's coincidence?
No, I think that LeBron has said before they want to play fast, but because of the type of basketball intellect LeBron has, he's realized either over the course of a season or over the course of a game, typically, you know what's the best way for us to score? Me to have the ball up top, diagnose everything, and try to be surgical with it. He doesn't have that type of team this year. Everyone's talking about the Lakers' lack of shooting. I think that is a slightly overblown issue. What the Lakers have, though, what they do have, is young guys that like to get out and run. It's the only category the Lakers were top 3 in the NBA last year. Pace of play. I know they added some bench players, but their key guys are all back. And I think LeBron has the ability to play fast. In Miami, that was an older team. In Cleveland, it was a much older team. So it wasn't in his nature, and it wasn't in his teammates' best interest over the last 8 years of his career. Get out and play fast. And I mentioned the young guys. This is the youngest team LeBron's played with since his rookie season. And obviously, the age is brought up dramatically by the fact that LeBron's 33. So how he adjusts to the pitfalls of playing with young guys on and off the court that he did not have to deal with at all over the last 8 seasons of his career.
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment he makes is off the court. On the court, of course, he's got to make some adjustments, style, playing with younger players. Do they have enough shooters, adapting to the skill level? Because one thing in LeBron, he diagnoses early. He even plays the NBA video game, so he knows the skill level, where guys like the ball, where do they like to shoot it, do they like to drive. So those type of things. I think the biggest adjustment is off the court. How do you lead younger players? Like when LeBron went to Miami, because that's when his leadership was pushed to a whole nother level. There was a certain amount of respect that Chris Bosh had for LeBron, Dwayne Wade, because not only had they competed against each other, but they had been friends for a number of years. And then when you look at the players that were added to the Heat in that time, that being Ray Allen, Shane Battier, Birdman, like all these guys, when they came to join LeBron, they came with a great deal of respect. Now, I do believe that the young players for the Lakers, they have a lot of respect for LeBron, but it's just based on the short period of time and what they've seen from a distance. They haven't lost series to LeBron. They haven't really competed against LeBron. So I think what he's going to have to do from a leadership standpoint day to day to make sure these guys buy in, he's got to expose himself. He's got to allow them to be part of his personal life, his family life. Now, LeBron has been doing that with veteran players, but when you do it with younger players, it's a different experience. I just hope that he's totally open to doing the things that he's done in the past, to be able to share his life with these younger players. He's done that with the veteran players. I just wonder if he's going to do that with these younger players.
I want to just ask a question about something you said earlier. We don't often talk about things that LeBron needs to change during the game or with his game to adjust to the other team, the team that he's on. When you talk about the speed, is that something he is going to speed up his speed, or will he get the other 4 to slow down with him? Or is that just depending on what the defense gives you?
If he plays slow, the team will play slow. Like if he tries to get out and push it, they will get out and push it. Like the team is going to go how he goes, which is why I think on the court, the most important relationship this season on the court, because see, your points off the court are well taken. Like Richard Jefferson has talked about what the greatest teammate he's ever had. But it's easier to...
A lot of team building exercise, a lot of things he invites, buys things, goes places, does a lot of things that we don't see from all the superstars.
But it's easier doing that when you're working with guys your age, your generation, who also have kids, who might have wives, who aren't out there. Like, if I'm Brandon Ingram, my idea of a good time on a night off is probably hitting some club in L.A. And if I'm LeBron James or Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, my idea of a good time on a night off is probably that expensive wine they like. You know, it's a nice meal. And so finding that, bridging the generation gap is a real thing when LeBron's in year 16 and the best players on the Lakers are in years 2, 3, and 4. But on the court, the relationship I'm most interested in is he and Lonzo. Because if he and Lonzo sync up basketball intellectually, then the Lakers will be the best passing team this side of Golden State. You will have two brilliant, unselfish basketball players. And I think that's the part of Lonzo's game LeBron can unlock even further. And that, even though Ingram's the second best player, that's the most important relationship on the Lakers.
Yeah, that was something I had to learn late in my career. Because Randy Moss, when he came into the league, I had been playing so long. And at that point, I had to adjust my personal life for Randy. He moved to South Florida. He moved in a neighborhood very, very close to mine. And I had to let him into what my home life was. I had to let him into a lot of different things. But I also had to find out what he enjoyed doing. And that's when I found out he enjoyed fishing. And that's when I went out, bought a bass boat. Man, Randy and I used to spend a lot of time on lakes fishing all around Twin Cities and everything in South Florida. But it allowed myself to be able to spend more time with him where I could get to learn him more, and that's what LeBron's going to have to be able to do.
Right.
And it's not always as easy as it seems.
I want to give Kevin Durant credit here. Kevin Durant could do the easy thing and lie and say, guys, I'm a warrior. The only reason I haven't signed a long-term deal is because of the finances of it. You got nothing to worry about. I'm going to be here.
I'm here.
I want to retire here. Instead, he's being honest. He does not know what he's going to do. He does not know where he's going to want to play. He does not know what decision will make him happy. He still is struggling with his last decision. And now we're asking about his next decision. He still hadn't come to terms fully at peace despite all the success and how great he's been with the decision to move on from Oklahoma City to Golden State. So I fully believe Kevin Durant. That when he says, I mean, those quotes, they're interesting. He said, you know, I'll tell people why I decided to move on. He's talking about it as a real possibility, but also saying, but I really like it here. We're trying to win we're trying to three-peat. And I'm sure he's trying to three-peat finals MVP. He doesn't know what he's going to do.
He's up after this year.
He's up, and by the way, he'll be up after every year he wants to be up. He's got so much money and so much power, and he's so great. He can sign 1+1s every year so he could make a decision whenever he wants. And so I think he's being honest here, and I give him full credit for being honest.
Well, sometimes, let's give people credit for being honest, but the truth of the matter, do we want people to be honest all the time? No. No, we really don't. And I'm totally cool with KD's first decision. So I'm not wrestling with it anymore. Now, he might be wrestling with it because the amount of criticism that he got, like that would affect you. But I don't like the fact of, don't fall into the trap, KD. Like, you don't have to tell us what you're going to do. Like, you should do exactly what LeBron did. I'm going to talk about it at the end of the season. Paul George last year, one of the biggest free agents. He didn't say anything about it. He ended up accomplishing what he wanted to. Everyone thought he was going to L.A. No. He was like, no. So during the season, if he would have given us an indicator, if he was going to be honest with us, we would have had more knowledge about him potentially staying in OKC. That was stuff we didn't. I don't believe that helps the public. I don't believe being honest in these types of situations, they help the player, because what he should be trying to concentrate on is trying to be the best Warriors team. Boogie's never won. Boogie's coming back from an Achilles injury. Trying to be the best teammate for him, trying to be the best teammate for Steph. If you're going to decide to move on, just because potentially you might not be comfortable with the last decision, I don't believe going all the way this way on this decision is going to help.
Why would Kevin Durant want to move on? Because I think a lot of people look at a situation and say, you have everything you want, and you already made a big decision. Why aren't you comfortable here?
Because he knows that if he had done what he did over the last 2 years
somewhere else,
in an Oklahoma City uniform or in any other uniform, he would be the unanimously considered best player in the world. If he went toe-to-toe with LeBron in the finals and won.
And he wouldn't have that backlash. He wouldn't have that love-hate thing, like people coming at him. And that's something, obviously, LeBron realized that when he tried to be the villain, when he went to Miami, like, I'm going to be the villain. LeBron was like, listen, I'm not a villain. I don't play a villain well. It's not my real character. Kevin Durant is not that mean, tough, fight-back guy. No, and I think because he's been criticized so much, Nick, that's why he said this time, I'm going to be honest.
Absolutely, because we know he's in his mentions on every social media platform, and it does affect him what people say, or at least he would say it doesn't affect him, but he at least sees it. He at least cares enough to respond to it. But so there's the non-basketball and there is the basketball part of it. The reason he would leave on a basketball perspective is to give himself a chance to take the crown from LeBron, rather than get it by default. Like, it's one thing to overtake a guy as best player in the world. It's another thing for the guy to just simply age out of it. For LeBron in year 19, like, okay.
Right.
And so if he
when Michael Jordan retired the first time, someone became the best basketball player in the world, but it was by default.
Right.
Because the best basketball player decided he was going to do something else for a couple years. Then once he came back, Michael snatched that back. He immediately, now after that playoff game, he realized, I'm not the best player. After that Orlando series, that summer, we saw him that next season, he was back to the best basketball player.
And know what, by the way, Jordan, I would argue, took it about 3 years before he won his first ring. Like, people don't give Jordan nearly enough credit for those late 80s Bulls teams when they weren't great, but he averaged 37 one year. That he was the best player, took it from Bird and Magic, whomever you want to argue, and no one ever took it from him. He gave it away twice because he retired twice. Nobody ever took it from him. Durant knows, and this is probably the basketball part of the regret, man, if we don't blow that 3-1 lead to Golden State, if I get my second chance at LeBron in the finals, maybe we win. And over the next couple of years, certainly with Kyrie left, if we could have played that Cavs team in the finals when I'm not on a already championing Golden State, people would say I'm the best. And he can't get that in Golden State. They could go win again.
Right. No. That could have been the first time he beat LeBron.
Yes.
Got it.
All right. And compared to joining Steph, Clay, Dre, and they beat the Cavs.
And he knows that if I put up in a lab, hey, here's how it's going to go in Golden State, you're going to hit the shot to win the first finals in LeBron's face. The next finals, you're going to hit the shot on the same spot on the court to basically end a sweep. That was to go up 3-0. And everyone is still going to say, but you ain't better than that guy. So why would he leave? For that reason. And to get the thing that LeBron got when he went to Cleveland, which is the validation of a title that people say is yours. The titles in Miami were different than the ones in the one in Cleveland. And if he were to win in New York or anywhere else, it'd be different.